Hello everybody, how are ya? Welcome to episode 6 of So Not Scary, a show where we are destroying our fear of sewing forever. I'm really excited today because today we are actually going to create a proper finished product using our mini sewing machine. Isn't that exciting? So today we're going to be making DIY reusable makeup remover pads using our mini sewing machine, okay? Now, if you watched the last episode of So Not Scary, you would know that these DIY reusable makeup removing pads are actually a personal project which is very close to my heart because about 3 or 4 years ago, I had actually made these for my own daughters and they have been lasting me ever since then. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. For these DIY reusable makeup remover pads, you are only going to need 2 main supplies. One is a cheap but brand new tea towel. I've got a plain white tea towel that I bought really cheap from IKEA, okay? It was, I think, 49p or something on sale. So it's really cheap, it's pure cotton, as you can see, okay? And it's just this plain white, pure cotton tea towel. And the only other thing you're gonna need is a sheet of batting, which is roughly half the size of that tea towel. So here you can see I folded up the tea towel really roughly in half, and if I put my piece of batting on top, it's roughly fitting thereabouts. Doesn't have to be exact, but that's a rough size of batting you need. Now if you don't know what batting is, watch my last episode of So Not Scary, which is episode 5, where we talk all about batting and what it is and how to cut it and how to use it, okay? So we're just building upon that today. So those are the 2 main sewing things that you will be using to create your DIY reusable makeup remover pads. Along with that, of course, you are going to need your mini sewing machine. And in my mini sewing machine, I have put white thread everywhere. So here on top as well, on the top spindle, I've threaded my sewing machine with a white top thread. And if you see inside the bobbin casing, I've got white thread in there as well. Now, if you want to learn how to thread the mini sewing machine, you can watch the earlier episodes of So Not Scary, where I walk you step by step very easily on how to do this, okay? So I will be posting links to those below, and it's really super easy and you'll be done in no time. So let's go ahead and get started on making our DIY reusable makeup remover pads. So the very first thing that you want to do with your tea towel is get rid of the borders. So every tea towel has got this stitched finished border, but we don't really need this when you want to make our face pads, okay? So I'm just gonna cut away these borders. Now you could get a bit fancier and use a rotary cutter and a quilting ruler, but because this channel is all about very beginner sewing or very basic sewing, I'm assuming you don't really have a rotary cutter at home yet, okay? So I'm just going to use a good old pair of sharp fabric scissors. I've got a pair of viscose scissors that I'd bought on Amazon. I keep them super sharp and only reserved for fabrics, so I never ever cut any other material with it apart from fabric, okay? Which is the reason why these have been lasting me a while now. I think these are at least 4 years old, and they're super sharp to this day. So I'm just going to use these scissors to get rid of all of these edges. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. Let's just start with one end, hold the scissors, okay, and just cut away the edge. You don't have to be very precise about it because it's not an exact science anyway, okay? So there, that's one side done. Let's move on to the other side. Oops, there we go. Hello sheep. Okay, So I'm gonna cut away the border on this side. I hope you can see it. So, final side now. We are nearly done. Okay, so the edges of our cheap cotton towel have now been cut away, okay? And it was just super quick and easy to do with just a pair of simple scissors, okay? So the edges came away in these long strips like these, so I can just get rid of those. And this is what we are left with. This is a full tea towel without the edges, and I've just folded it in half so you can see it clearly. You can kind of get an idea of the size of it, okay? It's not very big at all. And the next step now is to turn this tea towel into a set of face washing reusable pads. So let's get into it. So the next step in making our DIY reusable makeup remover pads or face washing pads is to figure out how large those face pads are going to be. And there's a very easy way to figure it out. Here, as you can see, the tea towel is folded in half. And when I kind of look at it, I realize I don't want something which is too small. So I'm thinking I'm gonna split up my fabric into 9 pieces, okay? So each side will contain 3 pads that way, and 1, 2, 3 pads that way, and 1, 2, 3 pads that way. So 9 face pads can be created out of 1 tea towel, 9 good sized face pads, okay? So how do we do it? Well, it's very easy. Let's just take a ruler and place it this way and roughly measure how wide that is. And I'm thinking it's coming up to 28 centimeters. So if I punch 28 divided by 3, that's 9.3, okay, or roughly 9 centimeters, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take anything to make a mark. Now in my hand I've got just a regular black pencil. It's a watercolor pencil, but you could literally take anything you want, okay? And placing my ruler here, I'm going to make a mark on every about 9 centimeter. So there's 9 here, okay, and there's 9 here as well. Oh, sorry, here, okay. And then let's make a mark here as well. So that's exactly 9 centimeters. Okay, and we're going to repeat the process here at the bottom as well. So here I'm going to place my ruler and make a mark on 9 centimeters. Can you see it's not an exact science? I'm not too bothered about being super neat about it. And really you don't have to worry about being super precise. So 9 2 is 18, so there's our second mark, and 9 3 is 27, so there's our third mark. Okay, so those are our 3 equal divisions marked out. Now on this side, let's measure out how long it is. So that's about 23 centimeters, okay? So again, if I take 23 divided by 3, it's coming up to 7.6, okay? So that's where I'm going to kind of make the marks, about 7.5 centimeters, okay? So I place my ruler there and I make marks at 7.5. Okay, so now our kind of rough grid has been marked out. I'm now going to draw lines on this fabric using the same pencil. So I'm just going to connect the dots. Look how easy it is. Okay, there, that's one line drawn. Okay, just to kind of make it dark, I've gone over these lines a few times, but if you've got a pen, maybe you might be a little more efficient than I am. But hey, we're all beginners here. Doesn't have to be exact. As long as it's yielding the results we want, we're happy. Okay, so look, our grid is all drawn out. Wasn't that quick and easy? Anybody can do it. You just need a pencil to do it. So let's move on to the next step now. Okay, so for the next step, what we need to do is put batting in between the folds of this tea towel. Okay, so half the tea towel is there, the top half is here. I want to insert a layer of batting in between these two sheets of tea towel. How do I do it? It's very easy. Take a look at the fold here. Okay, just remember where that fold is and simply unfold your tea towel. Okay, so I have a rough idea of where the fold is. I'm gonna take my sheet of batting that I had shown you earlier. Okay, it's slightly larger than half the size of the tea towel, and I'm going to place it inside, making sure that it's bumping up against that fold. Okay, it's not an exact science. Once again, don't worry about being too precise. As long as it's there, it's sandwiched in between, and all the 9 squares or 9 rectangles we marked out are covered, that's all you need. Okay, and then I'm going to carefully fold my tea towel back up again. Okay, and this time, let me show you. See the top edge of the tea towel right there? I'm gonna just try and make sure that my tea towel matches up to that top edge as much as possible, and that's it. That's that sandwiched in between. Now what I'm going to do is, to make it easier for us to sew it on our mini sewing machine, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna iron this out. Okay, so before I iron it out, what I want to do is, I don't want all the polyester batting to stick to my iron, so I'm going to snip away all of this extra batting. So here we go. I take my scissors again and I just start snipping away. Now I'm going to take it downstairs into my kitchen where I have my hot steam iron, and I'm going to give this a good pressing, and I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm back upstairs, and what I've done now is I've just ironed the whole thing out using a hot steam iron. You can't really see it clearly, but let me just tell you what's happened. Ironing these 2 layers of tea towel with the layer of polyester batting in between has kind of squashed and compressed the polyester batting down. Okay, and since it's so thin and compact now, what that means is we won't be struggling to put it underneath the presser foot of our mini sewing machine. Okay, another good thing that came out from ironing, the towel is now gripping really well to the polyester batting, so there is no movement when we sew. Great, so now that we've done that, we can get on to the next stage, which is sewing our DIY reusable face pads. Let's go. Hey guys, we're back now, and I'm sitting in front of the mini sewing machine. Now, excuse the sound quality or the awkward angle pose, all of my cameras and all of my filming equipment basically just gave up on me. So I hope you can still see what I'm doing here, and I will try to speak as clearly as possible. So I've set up my mini sewing machine, I've attached the foot pedal and the power supply to it, and we are now going to start sewing our DIY reusable face pads or makeup remover pads. And the best way to do it would be to start in the middle on this square or this rectangle, because once we sew that, we are going to anchor everything in place anyway, and the rest just gets easier and easier. So this is going to be the strategy. All of these black lines that we had made earlier, they will be the lines where the edge of our presser foot sits. So in the mini sewing machine, that's the presser foot, and we are going to match this edge of the presser foot with the black line, okay? And that way we will know for sure that we are sewing straight lines. Another thing that we're going to be careful of is that when we are sewing a corner square, for example these squares which are inside of the edges, we are going to line up the edge of the presser foot with the edge of the fabric, and again we will know that we are sewing in straight lines. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna lift up the presser foot and lift it up even higher so that I hope you can see it. I'm gonna lift it up even higher to slide the whole project underneath it, and I'm going to match up the edge of the presser foot when one edge with the black line, and then I will lower the presser foot, and this is what it looks like. Can you guys see? Okay, it's lining up, and we are going to start sewing. Here we go. Turn the wheel towards yourself, lower the needle in and start sewing. So I've done about 4 stitches, and I'm going to lift the presser foot up while the needle is still in, and I'll rotate the project around. I will lower the presser foot down again and backtrack those 4 stitches. Now I'm going to lift the presser foot up again and turn the project around again 180 degrees and continue sewing all around the 4 edges. And doing that has helped me lock the stitches in place. Here we go. Once I reach a corner, I'm just going to stop about 0.5 centimeters behind the black line. I will lift the presser foot up while the needle is still inside the project, okay? I will turn the project 90 degrees, that way. Now I lower the presser foot back again and I continue to sew. Now I reached the beginning of the initial 4 stitches that I had done. So once again, while the needle is still inside, I will lift up this lever to lift the presser foot. I will turn the project 180 degrees. Lower the foot again and back stitch around 4 more stitches. That's 4 stitches. Lift the lever, switch everything around again. 4 or 5 more stitches. That's 4 stitches. I lift the presser foot up, turn the hand wheel towards myself until the needle is up. Now here, after the tension disc, I'm going to pull to make a long loop of the thread, extra thread, and now this will allow me to pull my project out easily. See, it's come out. Now I can snip the thread and look, we have just created our first square, perfectly stitched on both sides. Now we will continue to do this with all the other remaining 8 rectangles. Okay, so let me do that and I'll get back to you. It's the last 4 stitches now. 4 stitches, then I lift it up and turn it around, and then lift up, flip the whole thing around again, and it's done. So I'm first going to rotate the hand wheel towards myself, lift the needle up, lift the lever up, pull on the thread right after the tension discs, and take the whole project out from underneath the sewing machine and snip the thread. And this is what we're left with. So let me now show you what we're going to do with this next. So on the front, as you can see, we've got those black lines that I made with the black pencil, and when I flip it over, you can see the stitching lines, and it's much better to use it further with this side up, because then we know exactly what's going on. And what we need to do now is snip out the individual face pads by cutting in between the stitching lines. So I'm going to take a pair of sharp scissors again. It's my Fiskar scissors again, and I'm going to start cutting the squares out one by one. So I will start by this corner one, and let's see. Here we go. Nice and easy, sticking in between the lines. Now I need to tidy up this edge, so I'm going to leave a little space just beyond the sewing line. Snip off any threads. And look, it's done. So this black line, when I wash the face pad before first time use, it's just gonna wash away because it's water soluble anyway. But look at the great size of this face pad. Okay, I'm gonna repeat the process with all the other 8 face pads. Here we go. So I've already done 3. Let me continue to cut out the remaining 6 face pads and get back to you. Okay guys, so all of the 9 face pads that we just stitched together are finished, and look how amazingly they turned out. See? They're nice and large, so it's going to be very easy to use them to wash your face or scrub your face or remove makeup with them. My favorite way, the way I like to use them, is to help wash my girls' faces. I've got 2 little girls, and they hate it every time I would put face wash on their face and rinse their faces off. But ever since I've used these guys, it's just been so much more easier. So I can tell you guys from personal experience, these pads last ages. My girls love them. We use them as a family. I keep washing them on hot washes, and I keep ironing them and storing them in a jar, and they just keep going. and they look like new every time I wash and press them. So let me quickly show you how I like to store them and how I like to wash them. Okay, so for storage, this is a huge glass jar that I like to keep on the windowsill in my bathroom. Okay, I had created this vinyl label myself on my own brother scan and cut machine. If that's something that you are interested in doing, let me know and I can create a tutorial on that as well. And I like to store all my face pads in this jar, and as they are used up every morning, I like to collect them in a mesh bag. Now this is one of the 2 mesh bags that I've got at home. This one doesn't have any handles on it, so it's not very good at hanging on the door. So all I do is I just insert a hanger inside it through one of these holes, and I hang it on the back of my bathroom door. But the other mesh bag that I've got, I think it's an old bag in which we got a whole bunch of balls for the ball pit. I use that as my other washing bag, so I just pop as they're used up, I keep popping them inside this mesh bag, and then I zip these guys up and I wash them on a hot 90 degrees wash, and it's no problem whatsoever, guys. Obviously these are brand new, so it's hard for you to see, but I will show you my other stash once it's washed and dried and pressed. Okay, I've got a whole bunch of other face pads that I'd made more than 3 years ago. Now let me show you what they look like inside this lovely glass jar. So I just open it up and pop these guys in. Let's just pretend they're washed and ironed. Close the jar and look, they look great, don't they? I am going to take pictures of these to show you what the finished product looks like sitting inside the jar. But this is a fab project for you to make on your mini sewing machine if you're just starting out sewing. Now if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up, guys, because I'm just starting out. I would love the support. Also please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon, because that would mean you will know every time I upload a new video. My blog is called ooniCrafts.com, so do check that out, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.